Welcome. In this video I'm just going to go over how to set up the Freedom VMS POS simulation. The demonstration requires a Windows PC and also an IP camera, and just note the Windows PC will have to have a separate hard drive or partition which will be used for the recording drive, and the steps involved are basically download the POS simulator application and extract them to the documents folder. It's a good place for it, and then also downloading and installing the Freedom Server demo software, and then once the Freedom Server software is installed you add a recording disk to the Freedom software, then a IP camera to the Freedom software, and then within the Freedom software you also create a text device and associate that camera to the text POS machine, which will in this case be the simulator on the same computer. And in this example the IP address of the POS terminal that we're going to use is actually the loopback address of the local computer, which is 127.0.0.1, and the port we're going to use in this case is 5959 in this example. Okay, let's get started. Now I've downloaded the Freedom Server trial software here and also the POS simulator. Now I'll extract the POS simulator software, get that zip file, and what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to move it to the documents folder. So I'll just open this, I'll cut that, go to documents and paste that, double click to open. I just want to send a shortcut to this application here, the POS simulator.exe application, so send to desktop. So it's created there, getting rid of the shortcut business. And just while I'm in this folder, the test data files you see here, this is the actual test data file. You can create your own if you like. I'll just quickly show you that. So that's the test data in this particular case. Now let's install the Freedom Server. It's pretty straightforward. So this Freedom Server demo does require a 64-bit Windows operating system, of course. Okay, that's been installed. Okay, just another thing here too, with the taskbar, we usually recommend you hide the auto-hide the taskbar. Now what we need to do is add at least one recording drive. So we click on the Start menu, All Programs, Freedom Server and Disk Manager, and just click on Login, and in my case it's just I want. So I've added my recording disk. Okay, I can now exit Disk Manager and double click on the Freedom Server icon here. By default there is no password, but it does lock automatically, as you see here, the red symbol. So if we click anywhere on the screen it'll ask us to unlock it. As I said, the default is no password, admin no password, so I'll just log in. Now the first thing we'll do is add an IP camera. I might change this to a 4-way layout. Now to add the IP camera we go down here to the Setup menu and to Device Setup. Now there are two methods to add. You can use the Auto Discovery tool or the manual add. I'll use the Discovery tool. This computer has an IP address of 192.168.2.100. So the server's IP address and the camera's IP address must be within the same subnet range. Network range. The network I have here is a 192.168.2 network, and the camera I have plugged in is actually an Amiga camera, and it's plugged into a PoE switch, and the recorder is actually plugged into the same switch as that. Okay, so let's start with the auto discovery method to add a camera. So I'll click on the S button here, you see here. This is the auto discovery tool, and the camera that I want, actually 81. If I tick that. Now in this case the password is default, admin in this case, so I don't need to change the password. If it was a password different than admin I would certainly have to change the password here and click on change. I don't have to do that, so I'll just click on add to device list, and that will put it over here in this list here, and there it is. And if we click on it we can give it a different name. Let's say POS camera for this example. Hit apply. So that's it. So that's the auto discovery method. You can actually manually add if you like, clicking on the plus. That's a similar thing, but you have to then select the different items. Obviously for private IP address, you have to know the IP address and the username and password. So that's the other method of adding a device. Okay, now I'm going to create a text device, which is like adding a POS terminal to the Freedom server. So we click on text overlay setup here and click on the plus. And in this case, let's say I can call it whatever I like, POS terminal 1, and it's a POS device. Now I might add a custom model, which you can do. I might make this centralized, add, and let's just call this custom model. It could be Smith POS company or something like that if you like. I'll just say custom model POS. Now the begin and end transaction, in this example for the demonstration, we will use start transaction as the start of the transaction, and we'll use end transaction. They have to be very careful that you get this right, so capital S, capital T, capital E, capital T there. So I'll leave that as default. I'll select OK. This is a unique text that signifies the start and end of a single transaction. And then we, from the list, drop-down list, we then select our custom model that we just created. Now the IP address. In this case, the IP address is going to be actually the IP address of the computer that we've installed the software on, this Freedom server. So what you can actually do here is go 127.0.0.1, which means your local loopback address. Normally this will be the IP address of the actual POS terminal. Now the TCP port, in my example, I'm going to use 5959. Okay, now this is the all-important text exception. So we want to check exceptions in this case. Now what you put in here is actually what will flag recordings on the timeline. Let's say if a particular text is encountered, like a negative $ value or a no sale value, or a specific item you want to keep an eye on. Now this relates to the output of the POS terminal. In our example, I'll just open the sample POS data that we have, and just scrolling through the transactions here. So I've got a no sale here. We might want to flag that when that comes up. Should have also put a negative. Not sure if I did put a negative $ in here. You can change that yourself and put a negative $. Got John Smith as a unique name if we wish. In this case, I'm going to put no sale as one of the flagged exception text, making sure I've got the exact capital for no in this case. So no sale or, which is a space, indicates an or. Let's say John Smith. I just want to watch all transactions from John Smith. Let's say we wanted to watch all transactions from John Smith with a negative $ value. So that's how you do it. The plus indicates an and, a logical and. So what this is saying is I want to look for any no sales or any transactions with John Smith and negative $. Now in my sample data here, this won't match because I haven't got a negative $. That's just an example. So I also might want to put minus $ in this case, so or minus $ by itself. And if I had a particular item I was interested in, like I think milk might have been in one of them, I could actually put milk or whatever product good in there. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Okay, now we need to associate a camera with this POS terminal, so I'll go edit cameras. At the moment we've only got one camera, so I'll click on that, then we'll click on the bottom node, just like that, highlight that, click it over here so it appears in the selected cameras. If I had more than one camera, I can select multiple cameras, of course. This camera text setting, this is where you can select the font size and the font position relative to the tile size. I'll just leave that as default for the time being. So click on apply and the device will appear over to the left here. So this is our first POS terminal or text device. I'll just close that. And to bring up the camera, I can simply drag it over from the device list over here. So the red dot indicates it's recording, and the green is it's displaying on one of the tiles. And let's just launch our POS simulator, and I just want to go into settings first, and they are correct as before. Let's go. The server address is actually the same address, so it's the same computer, so we're using the loopback address 127.00.1 with the port of 5959, and as we've said before, we've used begin transaction and end transaction as the signifiers that separate transactions, so I'm happy with that. I can test the connection, and yes, the connection's okay, so I can power on and start transaction. Now I better, before I do that, test data files, make sure it's pointing to the correct one, which is this one here, which is in your My Documents under POS Simulator, test data files. So that's right, so we can click on Start Transaction now, and that will actually start. Now if we go back to the server, you will see the POS transactions occurring. As I said, you can change the size of the text or the position if you prefer. Okay, so I'll go back to the POS Simulator, and that has ended. I'll just power off. So the idea to create test data, you click on power on, and then you click on Start Transaction, have the camera open in the background, and you'll see the text appear on screen. That's how we create our demonstration data to be searched on. You can actually let this run through. This goes to about, this particular data file goes to about 200 line 200 and I think it's 250 or something. We're about to find out, but that will eventually stop. I can stop it myself by clicking the stop transaction if I wish. The idea is you create a few of these at different time periods during the day, so you've got a bit of demo text data to work with. If you have two screens, it may help. You could have the simulator on one screen and the Freedom server on the other. You can move the Freedom server main GUI by dragging this icon here to the next screen. Just drag it over. So that's the last transaction there. Okay, that's it for this video. Don't forget there is a separate video for searching POS data in a guide that I recommend, so you get more familiar with how to search text data in Freedom. So after you've created your text data, it'll be available usually around 30 seconds or a minute after the actual transaction has occurred. Then you'd go to the playback section down here in Freedom. Now I'm not going to show you how to, in this video, how to search for text data. That's covered in that video I just mentioned, which is here again. So then you'd go through the process of the actual searching and how you search.